my name is Ashley and I'm your speaker for today.
Hi, I'm Shusin.
So welcome to our workshop, which is Study Skills Squad, and we hope that you guys can benefit from our workshop. So today, we would like to share with you this framework of Do It ASAP, which D stands for desired difficulty, A stands for active recall, S stands for spaced repetition, and the second A stands for association, and the last P stands for Pomodoro. We'll go through them one by one and talk about how we can apply this study method during our studies. So feel free to use the acronym Do It ASAP to remember all the study skills. Alright, now as we explain about the techniques one by one, please jot down some notes for better understanding. So the first study skill that we are going to talk about today is D, desired difficulty. This is more suitable for content-heavy subjects like sejarah or application-based subjects like maths and science that have more kebat or hot questions. A method to achieve desired difficulty is the question book method. First, you should be doing revision practices which are hard, which challenge you. And if they are not feeling hard enough, you can go to more application methods like past year papers or state trial papers for SPM students. Secondly, take your notes in questions. For example, when you are studying about a topic in sejarah, let's say faktor-faktor nasionalisme di Tanah Melayu, you can phrase this into an exam-style question instead, which is, apakah 6 faktor yang menyebabkan berlakunya nasionalisme di Tanah Melayu? In your next study session, the questions will make you think and look for an answer in your memory without relying on the materials. Eventually, you will have a collection of questions after you finish studying your syllabus. Just review the questions and try to answer every one of them before your exam. When you can answer most of the questions, you are definitely going to ace the exam. Ultimately, desired difficulty is about treating your exercises and revision as the real exam and treating the real exam as an ordinary exercise or revision session. If you are a Chinese speaker, this is exactly the saying of 练习当考试，考试当练习. The second study skill, which is A, that stands for active recall. As the name suggests, active recall is the retrieval of information solely and actively from our memory. It is regarded as one of the most efficient study techniques that can save you tons of time on studying. This is more suitable for content-heavy subjects like sejarah, biology, and economy. There are many ways that you can execute active recall when doing your revision. We will talk about 3 methods. However, you can still find out more by just a simple Google search. So the first method will be flashcards. Flashcards are a good tool to use to study topics that involve memorization. A typical flashcard has the question on one side and the answer on the other. Look at the questions and try to recall the answers. It is such a great tool because it provides you with instant feedback on your progress. Don't give up too soon when you can't recall the answer. Try to have a timer for each question and only review the answer when the timer runs out. If making physical flashcards is too much of a burden for you, try out digital apps like Anki or Anki Droid, which is a virtual flashcards app that is available on both web and mobile platforms. And the second method for active recall is Feynman technique. Grab a sheet of blank paper and write the name of the concept or topic concerned at the top. Let's use the same example again. Let's say today you're studying sejarah, specifically faktor-faktor nasionalisme di Tanah Melayu. You can explain the concept in your own words as if you're teaching it to someone else. Focus on simple language, review your explanation, and identify the areas where you didn't know something or where you feel your explanation is shaky. Once you have pinpointed them, go back to your textbook, your notes, or any examples you can find in order to shore up your memory. Challenge yourself to rewrite these sections in simpler terms. Make sure your explanation could be understood by someone without the knowledge base that you believe you already have. As for the last method for active recall, it's exercise book method. Do you still remember the question book method that was just mentioned in the desired difficulty? There's a similar method called the exercise book method, which can help you to achieve active recall as well. Believe it or not, one of the easiest ways to implement active recall is by completing the exercises in your typical exercise book. When you are going through the exercises, it simulates the actual exam where you are required to go through to synthesize answers out of nothing. Try your best to do it without referring to the answers. In that way, you are using your memory to answer these questions. So from today onwards, stop buying tons of exercise books at the beginning of the term, only to find them empty at the end. So that's all for my sharing today. And now I'll pass it to the next speaker, which is Shusin.
Well, thank you, Ashley, for sharing the first and second study skills, namely desired difficulty and active recall. And now let's have a 5 minutes break. And after that, we'll be back for more study skills. So we'll play some music, and meanwhile, you can grab a cup of coffee or you can do some drawing, just something to keep you refreshed later, all right? See you later. Welcome back, everyone. So let's continue. The third method that we are going to introduce to you today is S-spaced repetition. And this uses increasing intervals of time between review sessions of previously learned material. And it exploits the spacing effect, which refers to the fact that actually studying the material a second time is more effective when the two study sessions are spaced apart. And this is more suitable for both application-based subjects and also content-heavy subjects. Again, there are many ways to carry out this study technique, but we will only touch on 3 of them, namely the lateness system, retrospective revision timetable, and spacing algorithm. Essentially, all 3 methods serve the same purpose, but just using different mediums. So now let's talk about the first lateness system. Okay, this is useful if you are more of an old school person and likes using papers and pens. So you can use flashcards and boxes to create this lateness system. Basically, active recall and spaced repetition are good friends. They go well together. So you can incorporate flashcards, which you heard before just now in the active recall study technique, into this lateness system, which is under spaced repetition. And you can label the boxes as box 1, revise daily, box 2, revise every 2 days, box 3, revise every week, box 4, revise every month, and box 5 as the retire phase, which means that you already master the particular topic. And as you can see, the green arrows here represent correctly answered flashcards. So for example, from day 1, you can put all the flashcards that you have made into box 1 and then start answering the questions on the cards one by one. So if you answer the question correctly, then you move it into box 2. But then if you answer them wrongly, so they will maintain in box 1. And then on the second day, you do the same thing. You answer the flashcards in box 2. And then if they are correct, you move it onto box 3. So you can see now that the red arrows represent wrongly answered cards. In the same manner, you can place the flashcards answered wrongly in the other way back. So let's say like today you are on the second day of revising and then you are revising the cards in box 2, right? But then if you just answered them wrongly, you can move them back to box 1. And just revise accordingly to all the labels on the box. Like box 1 is to revise daily, box 2 is to revise every 2 days, so on and so forth. Yep, so now we'll move on to the second study method under the spaced repetition, which is retrospective revision timetable. And how this works is that you create a table or a list and list down all the chapters that you will need to cover for the upcoming exam. Then every time you do your revision on a particular chapter, just jot down the date in the row of the table and highlight it with a color to show your level of understanding. For example, red color means that you are very unfamiliar with the topic. And yellow means reasonably okay, but not perfect yet. And green means that, oh, you already know everything that you need to know and you are ready to take the exam on that particular chapter anytime. So this is similar to the lateness system, just that we use colors to help us decide on what to revise during the next time when we want to study. And you can always revise until all chapters reach the green color phase to ensure that you have fully revised the whole syllabus content. All right, now let's move on to the third method, which is spacing algorithms. So this is more suitable for tech-savvy people if you like using mobile phones and desktop. So you can use apps like Anki, RamNote, and SuperMemo that are accessible anywhere, and this enables you to revise anytime. So this is basically the same as the method number 1 and number 2, just that it uses mobile apps. All right, now let's move on to the fourth study skill, which is also A, but this A stands for association. And this association can actually be achieved by visualization through mind maps and self-created stories. So this is more suitable for content-heavy subjects like biology and essay subjects like sejarah and economy. So essentially, association is about taking what you are studying to see and sense it in your mind, to give you a better picture of what is going on. And here are some steps to practice visualization. So firstly, you can place yourself into the photo of what you're studying, then incorporate your senses. It's not only what you see, but it can also be what you hear and what you feel in that picture. And then create scenarios in your head that relates to the fact that you want to memorize. Try going through this process as many times as you can, and it sometimes helps by drawing or jotting down what you visualize. For example, let's say today you're studying biology, the classification of organisms. So you can create a story. For example, to remember all these words, right? You can imagine that, okay, now you are in a kingdom. And then the king's name is Phylum. So one day the king goes to the school and then he walks into one of the classes. So he is satisfied because everything is in order. And then when he continues to walk, he meets a family. And then he just started chatting with them. And he realized that, actually everyone in the family are genius, which is similar to genius, right? And then he is proud that this will ensure the continuation of their species. Yeah, so it is actually very easy for you to create stories and link all those things that you have to memorize together so that it now makes much more sense. Okay, now let's move on to the last study skill, which is P Pomodoro technique. This is also known as the tomato clock system. It is a time management system that encourages people to work with the time they have rather than against the time, and it is suitable for all types of subjects. For example, you can study for 25 minutes, then take a 5 minutes break, and after repeating this process for 4 times, you can take a longer break for about 15 to 20 minutes. And this will help you maintain your motivation and focus throughout the day. And it's also very helpful in avoiding burnout. So we have actually showcased to you how to implement this Pomodoro technique just now by having a 5 minutes break with some music playing on just now, because this break session is essentially for you to relax your state of mind so that you can maintain your focus. So that is all for our sharing, which is do it ASAP. D stands for desired difficulty, A for active recall, S for spaced repetition, the second A for association, and P for Pomodoro technique. Thank you so much, and you can join our live workshops for more interactive and engaging activities. So hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.